Well, looks like they're doubling down. A former World of Warcraft developer admits to trying to push pronoun selector and character creator. So let's go ahead and get into this. So I realize I'm a small channel right now, and I have been slightly avoiding topics similar to this because I have that small audience. And then I remember back to why I started doing this in the first place. And so I decided today, no, I'm really not going to hold back anymore. I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to say exactly why I feel this is ridiculous. I'm going to put my take on this. And if I do upset people with this, well, I honestly just don't care. So it goes on to say, a former World of Warcraft senior game designer admitted to trying to push a pronoun selector in the game's character creator before leaving the company. Because, we haven't gotten enough of that, right? Anyway, it says Blue Sky user Hamlet, Blue Sky, I'm not even going to get into that right now, who is a former Blizzard employee that used the name J. Jill, revealed he attempted to push the pronoun selector in response to a post from Filippi, owner and creative director Aaron Sanfilippo. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Filippo revealed he wants to include pronouns in every game he makes in response to avowed art director Mac Hansen, revealing he included pronouns in the game in order to make Elon Musk mad. So let's talk about that for just a second. First of all, if you want to include pronouns in your game, there are two things you really need to consider at this point. Number one, does it make sense in the context of the game? If the answer to that question is no, you probably should consider not doing it. The second question you need to ask yourself is, if you are going to do that, then be prepared for the backlash and be prepared for your game to potentially not sell. This isn't rocket science. You need to understand that the people that are buying these products, these games, are sick and fed up with this being shoehorned in an unorganic matter. If it makes sense in the context of the game, then fine, go ahead. I mean, yeah, be prepared for people to not buy your game because they are sick of this being pushed on them. The simple fact is if it was put in an organic and responsible way, and this is like I've said before, where maybe it's just something that's revealed throughout the game, but it's not a major push on the player, they can probably overlook it. But when you shoehorn it in like this and force it and force it and force it, people are going to reject that. You know, when you're a kid and you're told not to do something, well, you're probably going to want to do it even more after being told that. The same can be said with this. If you try to force this and push this on people, they're going to reject it more and more. Does it make sense to have pronouns in a fantasy game, a world that exists outside of our reality? Well, I guess that depends. Has there already been an established franchise? Let's take Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example. Already established world, never mentioned before, and then suddenly in the recent game it was shoehorned in. Now, if it was a brand new game with a brand new IP and a brand new world, you could probably get away with doing it, but given the landscape right now, it might not be the best idea. And this whole idea to just push something in there just to make a particular celebrity mad, and it just makes no sense to me. Like, just make a game. That's it. Just make a game. Like, why does there have to be a political statement? Why does there have to be a purpose? Why do you have to push something in there just to make one particular person mad because you don't like them? That's not good marketing. Anyway, let's continue. Filippo wrote, "Love this. I propose we all just start adding pronoun options to all our games just to annoy these guys. Game as a character selector, pronoun options. Flight simulator, pronoun options. Abstract puzzle game, pronoun options. Again, why? What's the point? Why do this? Because now all you're doing is pushing away your customer base. Okay, imagine if I was running a restaurant and I had a burger that everybody liked, right? And I decided to change up an ingredient. And then people didn't like how that burger tasted now. And they came to me and said, hey, I really loved your burger before, but you made this change I really don't like. Can you stop doing that and maybe go back to the way you did it before? And I said, well, what are you, a bigot against ingredients? Imagine that kind of response. And of course, what would happen after that? I would lose customers. It's kind of the same principle here. When you decide to purposely put stuff in just to spite people, how does that sell your game? Explain that to me with simple English and maybe crayons on a piece of paper. How does that sell your game? I'd like to know. You do also see that there is a tweet by Elon Musk here saying having pronouns in a fantasy video games is utterly unacceptable. I agree. It's a fantasy world. They don't really have concepts of this. If it's a brand new fantasy world, again, I don't see how it makes sense in the context of a fantasy game. Maybe if it was a modern day game and you wanted to shoehorn it in, sure. But again, as I said before, expect people to reject it because they have been having this stuff shoved in their face so much, they just don't want anything to do with it anymore. So then down below, it also shows Matt Hansen saying, I will petition for this on every game I make. And then Hamlet does respond on that tweet saying, pronoun selector independent of body type was something I tried to push for before leaving WoW. At any rate, I think it should essentially be table stakes for new character creation systems being made now. I guarantee you if this had got pushed through, people would have been leaving WoW in droves. Blizzard probably made a pretty good choice in not allowing this to happen because that would have pushed away a large customer base. I guarantee it. Now, I have not played World of Warcraft myself in a very long time, but I can guarantee you if I tried to go back to playing the game and I saw that, I would have noped out in seconds. Then down below, of course, it does mention that Hamlet appears to be wildly unstable. On November 23rd, he posted to Blue Sky, there has been a lot to be angry about lately. The most important thing this weekend is finding someone to take it out on. This is unhinged behavior. This is mentally unstable, unhinged behavior. You need to seek help. Why would you even think this? Why would you even post this on the internet for people to see? I don't understand this way of thinking. It boggles my mind. There's no logic to this. There's no reason to even say this. Why are you so angry other than the fact that you have mental issues? Then down below it also says, on November 21st, he also reposted another user who wrote, I will never enforce or respect a bathroom ban because I simply do not care about legality over morality. You can put W/E you want in your evil little law book, and I'm still going to tell you to blank off accompany all my women friends to the bathroom, and if you try to stop us, I'll kick your blank. Again, what is going on here? What is this? Are you that mentally unstable that I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to this, to tell you the honest truth, except this is, again, unhinged behavior. Let's move on. He did go on to say, too, it looks like anyone who ever posted I'm in LA has to do this, by the way, and it goes back to the same rant that I just read. Again, people don't have to do what you say. They don't have to see the world in your view. Sorry, that's just reality. It does go on to say, it is abundantly clear that Hamlet will attempt to force his gender ideology into everything in order to try to normalize it and get it accepted. Given he's trying to normalize it, it's clear that it is not normal. In fact, Pope Francis described this gender ideology as the worst danger of our time. Pope Francis said it is very important for those to be this encounter between men and women, because today the worst danger is gender ideology, which cancels out differences. I can agree with that. Because now everyone wants to be the same thing. This is, honestly, from what I can tell, this is just a phase that a lot of people are going through. Once this phase is over, there's a lot of them out there that are going to look back on this and go, why did I fall for all of this? It might not be a phase for all of them. I understand that, gender dysphoria is a thing. I understand that. I've actually had trans friends in my life. But those are the ones that don't want any of this either. They just want to live their lives. They're not the type to get upset if you quote-unquote misgender them. They end up shrugging it off and saying, you know what, I get it, it's okay. The way you see things is the way you see things. That's usually what I've been told. And they just don't make a big deal out of it. But that seems to be the rare case anymore. Unfortunately, there's too many of these activists out there, and they're just kind of ruining it for the ones who just want to live their life in a peaceful manner. So again, I understand that this video is going to make some people upset. And as I said before, I just don't care. because this stuff needs to be talked about. It needs to be called out. It needs to be criticized. I'm not against people that think this way. I'm really not. But if you're going to try to tell everyone else how they need to see things and how they need to live and how they need to think, well, then that does become a problem. And I'm going to say something about it. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. If you like what you see, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.